conference room and collaborating with Mount Pleasant agents getting things done. I've been a part of KW for 8 years, both in the Mount Pleasant office and in the West Ashley office. I don't know how many times I could count. I can't count, probably 1 or 2 times that I had seen that prior. And when I think about this vision, and I think about what this group of agents is doing from a collaboration standpoint, it goes right back to this vision. It was so cool to see 2 siloed groups of 200 people each doesn't touch one massive group of 400 miles. And that's what's so cool about this vision, watching it continue to come true and come to fruition and seeing progress toward that vision. We're going to talk about progress here shortly. But it was just a really cool thing to see. And again, I hadn't seen it in my tenure. I know that prior to me, there was some of that going on, but I hadn't seen it in years. And it's just a really cool thing to see this vision continue to come to fruition. So let's give everybody an applause. And do that more. So without further ado, we can't do great things without great partners. Angela, come on up.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
You may or may not be aware, because we did make some changes. If you haven't looked at our new service agreements recently, look for the family on the front. We're seeing more home warranties happening after the transaction. Our real estate warranties are down substantially because of the market. As you guys know, sellers are giving nothing, and they're doing nothing in preparation, and buyers are asking for nothing, where they're trying to keep their offers really clean. So what we've seen is our direct to consumer product is up 40%. This is good for 210. It's not great for your clients, because this is our best product that we offer. It's designed to protect everybody involved in the real estate transaction. And we understand that the buyer's walking into a home that they don't know anything about. Whereas with our direct to consumer, they're going to pay a little more, and their coverages are going to be a little lower because they're in a home that they've lived in. And more than likely, they're adding a warranty because they're already experiencing some failures, or they know all their stuff is about to expire. So, this is a better product. If you have clients that are looking to get something after the fact, let me know. I can still attach them to you and get them in this product. So the short version of that is, don't send them directly to our website, because they will not get this. And with this product, they also give the welcome gift of $100 key reimbursement. So if they buy any locks or hardware, they get that $100. It's kind of like a welcome gift, and it doesn't require a failure for them to take advantage of their warranty. The other thing I wanted to mention to you all is, we have a complimentary listing coverage. That means if you're competing for a listing with several agents or companies, you can look at that homeowner and say, I'm a real estate professional. If you list your home with me, I'm going to put a warranty on it until we leave the closing table. That's a huge thing for homeowners. So you're protecting them while you have that listing. We don't require that they be providing the warranty for the buyer. We don't require that the buyer even purchase it. Even if we make a repair, we're not going to hit you or your homeowner with the bill. All we ask in return for the complimentary listing coverage, with or without a repair, is that if your sellers aren't providing it, give it to the other agent and say, the home so far to date has been covered by this warranty. So if your buyers are thinking about a warranty, they would inherit the home's history, which helps that buyer because it helps eliminate pre-existing conditions. So that's probably the biggest misconception that agents ask me about all the time is, hey, to do the listing coverage, do I have to be providing a warranty? You do not. And it does include kitchen appliances. I don't know why everyone asks about kitchen appliances, but it does include kitchen appliances. The HVAC system is a $50 option. That's the only thing that's an option, but everything else is covered complimentary. It is on the back. It mirrors our standard coverage. So it's really easy to look at a glance. And I'm Angela Mitchell. My cell phone is on my card, starts with 843, and just a phone call or text away.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Means you crush it.
Or your mouth circle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get rocking. What do we do next? Uh-oh, this is everybody's favorite part. I know it. Have a
Tell
good
me
one.
something good.
Yes. Without further ado, yeah, you're not allowed to leave. Just
I'll
kidding.
stay, but can I leave with my license?
Actually, we have K-Score. You can get your real estate license for free and then join KW. Come on down.
You can study for free, you still have to pay for it.
Well, yeah,
That's true.
I'm studying. This is the third time I'm in the real estate course. Don't tell anybody. I didn't. Yeah, I just can't even get through the course. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to the course. It expired on me the first time I tried to get my license. Twice. Now I'm in it again in K-Score, just testing it out. Let's see, maybe I can get through it. We'll see. You guys are better than me, clearly. So tell me something good. So who has gratitude? Who wants to fill somebody's bucket? Let's do it. I have a hurt ankle, so I have to walk all the way back here. Yeah, it's broken.
So I had military clients, right? And we had a VA, and we looked at over 80 homes and 20 open houses and 13 offers. And during this process, I was able to rely on Anton and Elizabeth and John Crompton to answer questions about how to write things up specifically in order to have a really strong offer. And I'm really grateful that at any given time, I can walk into either one of their offices and say, hey, what the heck? And it's just been, it's been awesome to have that collaboration happening, and I'm forever grateful. And they get to move here next week.
Who else? Back here. Who else? Oh, Kayla.
I'd like to fill Jan's bucket. I don't know where she's at. She's here. She's just not in this office. Okay. Well, she is just amazing. If you know Jan, she always checks on me and makes sure that I'm okay, and I appreciate her.
It's awesome. Give me one more before we wrap up. Oh, let's do it. You don't know Holly yet. I do. You're gonna meet her shortly.
So I want to fill Kristen's bucket and I guess the leadership team's bucket, because I just am really appreciative for, like, you know, just welcoming me with open arms and answering all of my consistent silly questions and just being there, you know, to welcome me onto the team. I really like it.
So for those that don't know, Holly is our new agent services coordinator. We're gonna get that shortly, but she's a rock star, and make sure you say hello. So without further ado, oh, anybody on the Zooms?
Joseph says then stop talking. I think that was real estate
That was earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not real estate.
Tell him he could get,
Probably it'll happen a couple more times.
tell him keep going. He's doing great. Thanks for his support. Got a great OP and broker, better broker. So what's next? All right. I love scoreboards. Has anybody ever read The 4 Disciplines of Execution? No. Well, it's a good book. Everybody should read it. But one of the concepts in that book, it talks about execution. One of the concepts in that book is scoreboards and why scoreboards matter. And one of the things we're going to talk about later is we're going to go back to the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Looks like this. Well, mine's been used a lot, so it doesn't have a cover. But we're going to talk about the 9 ways that millionaire real estate agents think. And we've talked about the first 4. And by the way, there's going to be a quiz and you get to win something about the first 4. But we're going to talk about 5 through 9. And one of them is think competitively. And scoreboards are an easy way of thinking competitively, because everybody in this room, I know everybody in this room, most people in this room are competitive, whether it's with themselves or with others. And scoreboards help us understand where we are and where we want to go. What's really cool, May Listings Taken, Friedman, Snook, Empower. Who's Empower? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Reynolds Team rebranded. Reynolds Team, Susie and Joanne. Let's give them a hand for Listings Taken in the month of May. Awesome. What's next? Listings sold. Listings taken lead to. We're getting good. Take more listings, sell more listings. This is awesome. So page 102 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book tells you why you should take listings. So you should read that too. But the May listings sold. So let's give a huge hand for these individuals and teams. Dave, Snook, Empower, Found, Garrett, and Susie. Way to go. And closed units. I love it. Listings taken lead to listings sold, which lead to closed units. This is amazing. Simple game when we think about it, right? It's like golf. I've played a lot of golf. I was in Scottsdale and we were all joking. We were horrendous and we're going to blame it on the heat. It was 115 degrees. But if you just put it in the fairway, then you put it on the green and put it in the hole, it's a really simple game, right? Just like real estate. Take a listing, sell one, and get a closed unit. So, yeah, right? Closed units. So a huge congratulations to these individuals, Dave, Snook, Found, Empowered, Anton, Garrett, and Virginia. Let's give them a hand. Oh, yeah. So, what?
You didn't even know it was next.
I didn't. Oh, yeah. I didn't know what was next. I really didn't look at the slides. So on the website, so this is May year to date, or this is just the month of May. This is year to date through May. So a huge congratulations to the individuals for May production, Virginia leading the way. Let's give all those individuals a huge hand. That's awesome. Yeah, $4.4 million in sales in the month of May. And I know Virginia, I've talked to her a bunch and she has been crushing. She's been working just ridiculously hard. A huge congratulations to her. And she's in the top 10 in the region for individual production in the month of May. What an amazing accomplishment coming out of here in Charleston. That's awesome. Let's give her a hand specifically. Year to date. Uh-oh. I know, I got confused. Just a typical Tuesday or Wednesday. We're on fire today. This is good. I have a horrible headache, by the way. Desiree leading the way on the year, which is awesome. Let's give all these individuals a huge hand. What amazing production. And month to date, May on the left, Dave leading the way. Let's give a huge hand to these individuals, 10.5 million in the month of May. Huge congratulations to Dave and team, and Jan not too far behind. Let's give them a hand. Way to go. And on the right, well, we didn't get to the other. You're fast today. Usually you're like slow, but today you're fast. Loving it. I know. Trying to catch my brain to my mouth. Yeah. On the right, year to date, a huge congratulations to Dave and team. 54.1 million in sales so far. That's a lot of people helped. That's a beautiful thing. So let's give him a hand. All 10. Way to go. Go ahead. What a dynamic we got today. So profit share. Who knows what profit share is? I love it. Isn't that awesome? You got $1. Hey, that's lunch. It's lunch. That's awesome. 21st of the month is an awesome day. So 48% of the profits that are generated at the local level are shared back to the agents that helped generate that profit, right? If you haven't attended Wealth Building Wednesday with Winnie, or you haven't attended Winnie's profit share class, do it. She's been traveling the region a few times and going and teaching that class in different market centers. I think she was just down in Savannah, or where was she? I don't know where she was, honestly. Nashville for something with YP, and she taught it. And she goes through a bunch of different scripts and a bunch of different conversations that you can use to build your profit share tree. It's not about recruiting. It's about connecting. It's about building relationships. Is real estate a relationship business?
Absolutely. And is relationships with co-broke agents, does everybody know what a co-broke agent is? Right? The agent on the other side. Are those more important today than they've been ever? Absolutely. Develop relationships with people. It doesn't matter whether it's just clients, whether it's real estate agents, vendors, and partners. The more relationships we build, the more we can help people and the more we're going to get what we want. I think it was Zig Ziglar that said something along the lines that if you help enough people get what they want, you can have anything in the world you want, right? And that's what Profit Share is about. Connect with people, understand what their needs are. And if KW makes sense, connect them to me, connect them to the leadership team, and then we can identify whether they're a fit for our amazing culture or not, and whether we can help them. And that's how you build your profit share tree. Mike Green, I see him sitting back there, leading the way this year. John, not far behind. Let's give these individuals a huge hand. Hey, Mike, what do you do with your profit share? Putting you on the spot, sorry. What do you do with your profit share? Do you do anything with it? Spend it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some months it gets spent. Most months, it literally gets put into, I guess, what I refer to as my retirement account. So
That's awesome. What's cool, and I only asked a question, thanks, man. Let's give Mike a hand. I've asked that question a lot. Like, I know that, for example, Winnie puts hers into an IRA, very similar to what it sounds like Mike, and lets it build, never touches it. And I do the same thing. I put it into an investment account and let it build, right? It's money, it's passive income. Right? You have to do absolutely nothing with it. And what's really cool about this particular cash flow is you don't have to put any money out of pocket. There's no risk. The only risk is KW going out of business. It's the largest real estate company in the world, so I'd probably bet that doesn't happen, but it could, right? But it's an amazing opportunity to change lives and then change your own at the same time. So dive into it. Does anybody know why I just kind of ruined it? 30% of the agent base takes advantage of profit share. I wonder what it would look like from the standpoint of lives changed if 60% took advantage of profit share. What would that look like? What would that world look like? What would the agent base look like? Right? So think about it. And if you're not participating, come talk to me and we can talk about different strategies that you can implement so that you can participate if you want. It's also the beautiful thing about KW and real estate in general is you get to choose what you want to participate in and not. This is a great opportunity. What's next? Yeah, here you go. You got to talk to Zoom World.
Oh,
I know. I turned on the microphone this time because for our sport partner wasn't turned on.
Is that why you were laughing?
Yes.
Oh,
It's fun.
okay. Well, another thing too, if you guys are paying attention to the news, you'll start seeing real estate companies are making big cuts. Redfin was a big one yesterday. And yeah, and so those are things like when you see the breakdown of other firms like that, we're in a position of always growing, right? And so that's a great conversation to have to people when others are kind of like scaling back, we're pushing forward. We know how to get out of the shift. We know how to like always move towards progress and success. So it's a really easy, I think, tool and conversation for everyone.
Absolutely. I love it. Next. All right, this is awesome. So I think in June, on Tuesday, is the cultural summit in the region in Charlotte. And our 2022 cultural ambassador is Virginia Landon. She's getting a ton of recognition up in Charlotte. So if you can make it, you're more, registration's closed, so you can't go. But but I'm sure we can get you a ticket, honestly. I kind of break the rules all the time. So if you want to go, just tell me and we'll just get you in. Yeah, we'll get you in. And tell Austin she'll love me.
Several agents going up to support.
Yeah, we have a ton of people.
and if it makes anybody feel better, I rarely register for anything and I still show up.
One of them next week.
We'll see you there then. Yeah, we'll see you there. And you can sit next to me. It's gonna be great. We can get everybody in. The more the merrier. And just blame it on me. So a huge congratulations to Virginia. She's been a cultural icon in our market center and in KW is in Charleston. Our cultural ambassador in West Ashley is Sarah Waycaster. Am I right on that?
Yes.
is Sarah Waymaster. So she's also going to get recognized, and they're up, both are in the running for the regional cultural ambassador for 2022, which is a really exciting thing. So let's give them a huge hand. Real quick, back to that. Or are you talking about the diversity thing too? Is that on here?
No, it's not, but that's close.
Let's just mention it anyway.
Just comment on it.
Yeah, we're gonna mention it anyway.
I don't know if that changes.
So on the day after the cultural summit is, and there's a couple of great speakers at this cultural summit, but the day after that is the diversity inclusion training. Did I say that right? Is that what it's called?
Agent of distinction.
Agent of distinction. So I didn't say it right at all.
But I mean, it's from that department.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we've got Julia Lachey, I think, is coming in to in person to do that training. Is going to be an amazing training. Again, just shoot me an email if you want to, if you want to go, and we can probably get you in. But it's going to be a great training. I think we already have a bunch of agents signed up for that. Yeah, 8 so that are going up. And if you do decide that you want to go to that training and the cultural summit, let us know and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can get a carpool going.
It is still open, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Isn't it, right?
And I've heard amazing things about the Agent of Distinction training. It's been everybody that has attended, and I'll be attending, I guess, on Wednesday morning. Everybody that's attended has said amazing things about Julia and the way that she presents the material. I just saw her in Nashville. She's an amazing, amazing speaker and just gets it. So it'll be an awesome, awesome opportunity to learn and get better. Cappers, love that. Let's give a huge hand to Casey, Nate, Virginia, Julie, and Karen. Cappers. And our first closings, these are the best. All these individuals, Madison, Holly, Johnny, and Mary Beth, a huge congratulations to them. Their first closing at KW. That's exciting. Birthdays. Anybody today? What's the date? 50. Oh, Colton. Are you Colton? No. What's your name? I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. You're not Colton. You look like Colton though. Foot and mouth. Oh, do you really? Oh, I love it. Well, welcome. What did you say your name was? I'm sorry. Ian, nice to meet you. I'm Vince. Yeah, it's great. Massive fail. On Alan's team.
No, Colton.
Yes, I knew this too. I've talked to him a bunch. He's a great guy. But that's not Colton. I've only talked to him on the phone. Okay. Foot's in the mouth. We'll dig out of the grave. We're getting there. Somebody throw me a ladder.
That's on the 23rd. We forgot that on the slide.
Thank goodness.
Yes, throwing that out.
It's a national holiday.
He earned it today to not be up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So a huge congratulations. Happy birthday to Colton and Casey. Let's give them a round of applause. Welcome to the family. Holly, April, Colton. There he is again. Graham. Graham. Yeah, I'm gonna get him one. Ian's gonna Ian is now Colton. Sorry. It's gonna be great. So welcome to the family. If you see these individuals around, clearly I don't know what Colton looks like, but if you see him around, say hello. Welcome to the family. We're growing and we're growing at a fast rate, and it's a really exciting thing. So dive into these people. Let's give them a hand. Meet Holly. That's not me.
Holly?
Yeah, you wanna?
Do I-
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell them about Holly.
Okay. Holly is our new agent services coordinator. So she's been back and forth with me between the offices, learning systems and all things onboarding and, KW. So she just recently, I sent out an email last night, so I'm not going to go into depth on her whole background, but she recently graduated from CSU, has a 3-year-old daughter, right? And a husband. 3-year-old daughter is Noelle, and that's her. Yeah. So welcome Holly to the family. I'm not gonna give this to you because you're good. I know. But stop in, say hello if you haven't met her. She's awesome, and we're really super nice. Yeah, we're excited to see the things that she'll put in place and get us all straight. So welcome her to the family. I know.
Yeah. Tall task, but it's fun. You're gonna love it. You don't want to stay away from me, I'll tell you. So Holly, is it, and it's so cool. So we're fine. We're really filling out the leadership team. It's a really exciting thing to see. We're still in the process of hiring another agent services coordinator, and both market centers are going to get to see these amazing individuals constantly, because we're continuing to kind of play that collaboration vision out. So we're also looking for an assistant team leader. So if you know anybody that's talented, send them my way and we can go through the process. Same with the agent services coordinator. If you know anybody else that would be a great fit, super excited to have Holly, somebody else for her to work alongside. So send the names. Hey Colton, what's up, man?
I don't know if he was on while everything happened, but he's on now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, just so y'all know, many people are involved in this, and I know Vince is probably going to come and take the microphone and add to this. But if you're not a member of the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook group, they do a daily Zoom. I know a lot of people are weekdays at 8 a.m. is when it is. So jump on these. This is a great opportunity for you to be on these calls. Do you want to add anything? I know you want to. I know.
Are we in a shifting market? Yeah, there is no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if anybody saw the news yesterday. Oh yeah, I'll hold it. The news yesterday with mortgage rates going up, bond curves inverting, all kinds of crazy stuff. I had a meeting with Matt Mears. Does anybody know Matt Mears? With CMG, he's a great guy. If you don't know him, he's ridiculously knowledgeable. Reach out to him. He knows what he's talking about, and he's a great mortgage lender and a great partner. But talking to him about the shifting market and the impact to the real estate agents, business, and all kinds of stuff, it is changing, right? And it's getting harder. Inventory is becoming a challenge, or it's been a challenge, right? Interest rates, the whole 9 yards. Our responsibility as a real estate agent is to be the local expert, right? We need to know this stuff. So dive into trainings. This pivot class is all about the tactics in shift, which we're going to give away, right, in this book, to survive during the shifting market. And by the way, during a shifting market, it is the best time to take market share. Hands down, the best time to take market share. Because somebody said to me the other day, the market is shifting in my direction. When I think about a shifting market, I just think about money changing hands in a different place. I have to adapt and go play in that space, right? Whether it's 2008 and all of a sudden the foreclosure and REO market short sale market becomes a huge place to play where a lot of money is changing hands. How many agents that were in during that went through 2008 played in the short sale market? Bet you both did, right? Everybody that was in 2008 played in the short sale market a little bit, and they became a local expert in that space. I don't know what's going to happen in this. I don't have a crystal ball. Yeah, where the money moves, we have to move with it. There was a Chris Heller. Has anybody ever heard of Chris Heller? He was the CEO back in like 2015 or 2016. And I had the amazing opportunity to be down in Austin. I was listening to him speak, and he made a comment. It was right around elections. Somebody asked him, what's the impact in the real estate market? What impact will the election have on the real estate market? And he kind of walked around for a second, and he said, you know what? I have no idea. All I know is that it's going to have an impact. And I know that my ability to adapt to the market of the moment is paramount in my success moving forward. Because I've been in this business for 20 years, and the only way that I've been able to be successful is I've adapted to what was going on around me, skated to where the puck was going to be, and then played where that money was changing hands and helped and served in that space. And that's exactly what's going on now. Is it harder? Do you have to take more swings? Yeah, it's a shifting market. It's harder. There's less units per agent. It's just the name of that. That's just what's going on. But we can't control that. We can only control us. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But getting into things like this Shivit class, Shivit, we are now, I went like 5 minutes and didn't put my foot in my mouth.
That's a new term.
It's a new term. Get into the Shivit class. The Shivit class. Geesh. I literally went 5 minutes, didn't say anything stupid.
between a city market and a field.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I can't say that. I cursed the last time Joseph yelled at me. It's accidental. So pivot, shift ahead, but get into this. I've talked to a bunch of agents that get onto this 8 a.m. call. Not only is it great information, it also sets the tone for the day. And I've heard people say things like, it motivates me, it keeps me motivated, or it gives me a different perspective on thinking about this market, or I get to connect with people across the entire country and then send referrals and create referral partners all from this group. So it's a really great group, and it's a Facebook page to dive into it.
The other thing that we want to remind you guys about is the Connect Live trainings that they put up generally like 2 weeks in advance. If y'all have trouble finding it, let me know, but it's on KW Connect under training. And then some of them are like this week, but all of the recordings say you wanted to go to the luxury learning series. You could go to Connect Live on demand and go get access these trainings. Just so you know, like these are out there. I want y'all to know where to find them. Just doing a refresher here, but they have a lot of like buyer ones coming up in the next 2 weeks. So if you lean that way, yes, correct. All right, June. So we really only have 2 other, which is Tech Tuesday and then Systemize Your Lead Gen with Zach Younger in June. And then July, we have quite a few. Obviously, the Tech Tuesdays, Safety by Choice, Command the MREA modules, DocuSign tips and tricks. Gonna be a good one. We are going to be adding a DocuSign training. Jay Kennedy and I are going to be teaching it. It's going to be a workshop. It's going to mainly be like, just show up and let's start playing around with it. If you have questions, I have it on the calendar. I didn't add it here, but that just jogged my memory. So I'll let everyone know. And then handling objections powerfully and closing with ease. So those are the CES classes coming up. And then we also have Bulletproof, the transaction for your buyers. And this is an agent panel. The region is putting this on June 30th from 11 to 12, and it's via Zoom. So a lot of good people on there. You want to add anything to that?
One of the coolest things about the company that we're associated with is the infrastructure. There's 170,000 plus agents, right? And a great thing that COVID did for real estate or businesses in general is create connectivity digitally, right? This idea of being digitally based, physically enhanced. Before, we had a couple of trainings from the region, but you had to drive to them. Now we have the opportunity to hear 6 unbelievably top agents in the Carolinas region that are crushing it in different markets, doing things that probably people are challenged by in this market. Like, are there a lot of, do you have a lot of multiple offer situations? You have to write different contracts and different offers so that you can get it accepted. These individuals are doing it at a high level. So learning from them in the digital world is amazing. So we showed the slide about Connect Live, and that's at a KWRI level. We have a ton of local trainings. We also have access to regional trainings as well. So when you have a gap in your business, go fill it with a training, right? From the region or locally, whatever you want to do.
Super fast. Just because I have my NC license over at South Park, I know Brett, and he actually spoke to us during one of our team meetings there, and he's just very buyer heavy and one of the top buyer agent producers at our firm there. And if you can get in, I mean, they're all phenomenal. I can just speak for Brett. He was won so many multiple offers, and he's got a lot of tips and tricks on that. So pretty cool to sit in on.
I know Jay Gray well up in Myrtle Beach. I think he's doing like 60 plus transactions a year right now as an individual. He's just working his tail off, and great guy, really fun and dynamic speaker too. He's definitely going to say more stupid things than me, which I can't wait, right? Because then you'll forget about all the stupid things I said.
And then we also have these are a little bit out of order, which, you know, I love, but we have Joseph coming in and speaking in a little bit. But July 28th, we have in-person internet lead generation. KT Temple is coming down to teach that. We will have an Eventbrite out for this, but just to kind of put it in your brain, July 28th, we'll be having this in Charleston, and we'll have more information to come on that, but it's an all-day training, so. All right. And then Joseph. You got it?
I am here. You don't have to change it. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. So yeah, we've got a couple events coming up. This first one, we are rolling out an Ignite certification from Keller Williams Charleston University. So be on the lookout on the June 28th. This is an invite only event. We're going to do a mix between having trained the presenter as well as getting certified to teach Ignite for the market centers. So we're going to cover some things, some of the highlights out of Train the Presenter that we have that will help you not just as a presenter, but also in your listing presentations, buyer presentations. And then for those of you that want to continue teaching Ignite, learning the new materials, we're going to go through all of that, make sure everyone is prepared. So just be on the lookout. We'll get more details in the invites, and I'll be reaching out to all the Ignite instructors personally on that one. So this next one, I'm really excited about this one. So be sure to put on your calendar July 13th from 11:30 to 3. Vince was talking about earlier with the pivot shift ahead, page 179 of the shift book under creating urgency, shift tactic number 9. We talk about the being the economist of choice. So we're doing what we're calling the KW Charleston review, which is really kind of to review what we've done so far this year and then what we're doing to create our vision moving forward. So we're going to have a couple cool things going on that day. We've got the president and CEO of the Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce, which is the largest chamber of commerce in South Carolina. He's going to come and speak to us about what's going on in the Charleston economy, specifically as it relates to the housing shortage, affordability, what they're predicting, what that economy is going to look like moving forward. So that'd be a really cool way for us to launch that meeting and then go into kind of what it looks like for our businesses. How are we doing so far? Let's review our business. It's a little later in the year for a mid-year review. I get that. But kind of revisit that, make sure we're on track for our goals for the rest of the year. And then that'll give us the opportunity to close out with something fun, some inspiration. I'm sure we'll get Vince up there to do a little song and dance. Oh wait, no, we want people to come. So we won't have Vince up there with song and dance. But no, it's good. This is gonna be a fun event. It's gonna be at the Cooper River Room. It's a citywide event. It's gonna be a pretty big deal. That's all I got.
I don't even see him. I just
Wizard, right?
was it K-Dub? All right. How the MREA thinks. Bad news, you got to listen to me more. It's going to be great. So, little quiz. So there's 9 ways that the millionaire real estate agent thinks. 2 team meetings ago, we talked about the first 4. Anybody that can name the first 4, I'll give you a shift book. Can anybody? Does anybody know them? I had a feeling this was going to flop. Well, it's a shame. We should know these things.
Can you ask the question one more time? Repeat the question.
What are the first 4 ways that a millionaire real estate agent thinks?
Thinks like a million.
Well, think a million, kind of.
Get a million.
It starts with a big. Okay, perfect. Think powered by a big why. The second one, does anybody know what the second one is? Yeah, I thought you were right. You did great. Big goals and big models. So think powered by big goals, big models. What's the third? No, not possibility. Oh, you're right. Are you looking them up?
It said no.
I didn't believe that you knew them. Think possibilities and fourth. Swing the bat. Action. I love it. You get a shift book because you tried, and I would have cheated too. Yeah. So here's way to go. Here's what's fun about this. So I get questions every day about things like, well, I want to add, because I talk to a lot of real estate agents, right? That's a blessing. They ask questions like, I want to add another lead pillar, but I don't know what it is, right? Or I don't know how to hire, and if I do hire somebody, because I need the help, like, how am I going to train them? Or, Like I need a different way. Like I have a value proposition, but how do I really articulate my value proposition? And what should it be? What's so funny is every time I'm presented one of those questions, I can flip to a page in this goofy book and it gives you the answer. Whether it's what's a lead, or we'll go to page 133, 138 and figure out which one you like the best and go implement it. Oh, I don't know how to train somebody. I think it's like 256 tells you exactly how to train an admin, right? That can come alongside you and work with you and provide a level of service more probably than you provide by yourself. It's amazing how when we think about, or when we look at this book and we look at this big model, how every challenge or every question that we end up having in real estate or in business in general, honestly, that's why I like this, is answered here in some way, shape, or form. And then we can put our own authenticity, our own creativity to that model and explode it to make our own awesome value proposition and differentiate ourselves from everybody else. Does that make sense? It's a really fascinating thing when we start to read this and we start to dive into it, because I'm starting other businesses that do have things to do with real estate, but I use the exact same models that are in this book, all the same principles. This transcends industry. When you start to really dive into this, you can open up your world. It's a really cool thing. I don't sell any real estate. I just happen to lead a relatively large brokerage, but all based on these models, right? Which is why these are so important. So those first four are really important, right? Think powered by a big why. We all know what that is. Think big models and big goals, right? Think possibility. If we don't believe we can do something, we're never going to do it. It's a really big piece. Then take action. If we don't take action, we're really not going to do anything. So now we're going to talk about the next 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. How many is that? 5? So something like that. So the number five is think without fear. Let's be super authentic. Let's be vulnerable for a second. I know that I am pretty much always vulnerable. I put my foot in my mouth 16 times with Colton, right? Do we all have fear? Right? Is that okay? Of course. What's not okay about fear is if we're paralyzed by it. Is this a scary market? Every day you read the news, there's something about how horrible something is going to, how bad something's about to be, or how bad it already is. Rates went to 6.25 or 6.1, whatever it was yesterday, right? All hell broke loose. Where everything's going to crash, right? That's fear. That's scary stuff. However, we have two options: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And those that face everything and rise and are okay with failing and are okay with, hey, I'm just going to push through, are going to be able to take market share in this shift and are going to at least see what they're capable of. One of the big whys that they talk about in this book is this idea of seeing our potential. A lot of us in here chase potential. I know I chase, like part of my big why has to do with making sure that I fulfill my idea of potential, and that my dad used to always say to me, don't be afraid to be great. There's this big saying, right? And most brutal saying when you actually get into it, don't be afraid to be great. But if you're fearful of it, you're never going to see what's possible. You're never going to see what impact you can truly make on the world, right? So push through fear. What's the easiest way to overcome fear? Just do it. 9 times out of 10, the worries that we had, 90% of the worries we had about facing that fear never come to fruition. It's the craziest thing. And when you're able to then move from fear into the next piece, into the next thought process, which is think progress, everything else becomes easy. Because when the only failure that really truly matters is the last one, because it means you quit. It means you gave up and you moved on. And we don't want to do that. Somebody said to me the other day, fail stands for first attempt in learning. It's like, man, I've had a lot of first attempt in learnings. Too many probably, based on my track record, right? Here's the other fun thing. If I was afraid, so for years I said I'd never be a team leader. And I've said it to Anton a million times, right? When I was an MCA, and then I had amazing opportunities to do some things in Myrtle Beach, and I said, I'll never be a team leader. If I was scared, you could put the expletives in, shivit of it. right? I was nervous by it. And somebody came to me and they talked about this concept of the 4 C's. Has everybody heard that? The 4 C's. Number 1, you take a massive commitment. Number 2, you have courage. And courage is just doing, like, if you take a commitment that makes you want to pee your pants, courage is just do it with wet pants. Go for it, right? Good analogy. Then there's credibility, because when you do something and you put a lot of courage into doing that commitment, and there's no alternative to just fulfilling that commitment, and you do it with courage, and you get credibility. The people around you start to believe that, hey, this goofball from Jersey, I guess, can be a team leader, right? And then what happens? Confidence. Think about it from a real estate standpoint. How the first listing appointment you ever went on, were you very good? You probably sucked. With all due respect, with love and respect. That's what my coach says to me when he tells me really bad stuff, which is every day. I have that today at 3:30. It'll be great. And I'll hear, with love and respect, Vin, and then it'll be a really terrible statement. How about your 100th listing appointment? You've gone on probably 100 listing appointments. What percentage do you close now?
I'm over 1,000.
Over 1,000 listing appointments. What percentage of the listing appointments do you close now? Like 95%. When you started your first year, what percentage? Probably lower. A lot lower, right? And that is what moves us into the next. When we think progress, right, it's about quantity over quality. Quantity creates quality. There's my favorite page in this entire book is page 88. 102 is good because, but what 88? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be great. 88 talks about swinging the bat. The more times you swing the bat, the better you get. You're a baseball fan. What's the batting average that you need to get into the Hall of Fame? 300? Yeah, so 300. I need to bat 300. I make it to the Hall of Fame. That means what? What does a batting average of 300 means? It means that means literally 7 out of 10 times that I get up there and I swing the bat at the ball, I strike out, go sit my behind on the bench and get paid millions for it and make it to the Hall of Fame. I only hit the ball 3 times and I made it to the Hall of Fame. It's the same concept in business and in life. You only have to hit the ball 300% of the time, and at batting average, don't hit the ball 300% of the time. 3 out of 10 times you make it to the Hall of Fame. The more you swing the bat, the better you're going to get at it too. It's an awesome concept when you think about it. And it's the same with listing presentations. Anton just said it himself. When his first year, his percentage of close was lower for listing presentations because his first few listing presentations, and it's Anton. He's probably one of the best. He did 1,000 listing presentations, probably one of the best listing agents in the business. And he was terrible at it the first time he did it. Just like everybody that does it their first time. He's no different, but he did it more.
Funny story, but my first terrible. My first appointment, they looked at me like, how many houses have you sold?
Yeah.
And the answer was 0. So, but I mean, just of all the things, I don't think since that day I've ever been asked that again.
Yeah.
On that one they
Right,
did.
but on that one they did.
Yep.
But they still listed with me.
There you go. So you're the first one you got. So he is a little different than everybody else. Yeah, exactly.
Like, for going back to baseball reference, I mean, if you hit 300, you're really good in 2022. But if you have 250, you're kind of average. So that the difference between being great and being average is very minute.
Very minute. And the more you swing that bat, the more you practice, the more you're going to be better at it. What's cool is think about scripts and dialogues and conversations, right? How many true objections are there in real estate from a listing agent or from a client or from a client? How many true objections are there? Not that many. So what would stop you from practicing what you say to those objections so that you can say them more, internalize that objection handler, and then make it your own? It should be nothing. That's a really easy thing to implement. So you don't have to have a bunch of listing presentations to go and do it more. You can do it more every day so that when you do get onto the field and have to hit the ball, you've already done it 1,000 times. You don't have to go take 1,000 listings or go on 1,000 appointments like Anton did. You can go and practice it before to get to 1,000 faster. When you think about it that way, now it makes it easier to get to progress and get to quantity over quality and create that skill. Nobody can increase their skill as fast as they can increase their activity. It's a really big point. My coach has hammered that into my head. It's brutal. Number 7, think competitively and strategically. I wrote up here, gamify things and make it fun. This, when markets get difficult, it becomes a little less fun. Is anybody tired? The last 3 days, I haven't been able to wake up for the gym. I've been so tired. Yeah, and that's okay. And most of the time when we get tired and things get real hard, it gets a little less fun. And when things get a little less fun, do we want to do them? No, we don't. So thinking competitively and gamifying things can make it really fun. I was at Morgan Stanley for 4 years after college, and I built a wealth management business, and it sucked. But I built a pretty big business. It was a lot of fun. It was brutal, dude. I dialed the phone 300 times every day from 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And then on Saturdays from 9 to 1. And because it had to be done. And what was fun about that is quantity over quality, right? Was I able to handle darn near every objection somebody threw at me? For 4 years, I was on the phone for 300 dials a day. Of course I was able to handle them, right? Because they were all the same. What was fun though, one of the things that we did to gamify it and get really good at objection handlers was I always had 7 pennies in front of me. And every time, Anton, I'm using you today, it seems, but every time that somebody would say no to me, when I went to set an appointment, I would slide a penny over. Because my objective was to get all 7 pennies over to this side. And every time they told me no, I was going to handle that objection with I had no connection to the outcome. I did not care. I just wanted to get through the darn 7 pennies. So they would say something, they'd say no, I'd say an objection handler, I'd move the penny. They'd say something else, I'd move the penny. I gamified objection handling. And it became so fun. I only moved all 7 pennies one time because by like 5 you get hung up on. Which also helped me get over a fear. My fear of, well, what happens if they don't like what I'm saying? Who cares? It's a telephone. They hung up. They stopped the conversation. It was a beautiful thing. You can always just hang it up.
Get on the other.
Another thing we did was we would gamify how many no's we got so that we knew how many yeses there was a yes behind. It took 32 to 35 no's before I got an appointment. Once I got to 35, guess how eager I was to dial that phone? Because I knew there was a yes right around the corner. Because I had a bunch of paper clips over here. Those were my no's. It was the best to gamify things to keep them going. That's thinking competitively. We talked about the scoreboards, whether it's scoreboards that does it for you, whether it's just a little internal competition of pennies on a desk for you. Figure out how to make it fun because this stuff sucks sometimes. Building a business is hard, but ain't nothing good come easy. That's another thing my dad always said to me. It's brutal. And in the same breath, strategically, think strategically, right? Create solutions that win. In another baseball analogy that they actually use in here, they said in 1863, they introduced the curveball to baseball. So for those that know baseball, they talk about the rules of the game, right? And think about the first time that a batter was standing up there and all of a sudden an 80-mile-an-hour curveball comes at him. They say that anybody that's athletic can probably hit a fastball, but it takes a major league baseball player to hit a curve, right? This ball coming at you, it looks like it's going here, and then all of a sudden it drops off the face of the earth. Think about the rules of the game. The rules of the game just stipulate that you have to throw the ball from that mound to that plate. And here's what's going to be called a strike, and here's what's going to be called a ball. They said nothing about that ball having to go straight. So if everybody just kept throwing the ball straight, batters would always win. But then they introduced a curveball in 1863. Thing falls off the face of the earth, and what do you think all the batters did? Probably complained that you can't do that. You just threw a ball that didn't go straight. They were thinking strategically. They didn't bend the rules. They played within the rules. When we bring it to real estate now, right? Think about how we're changing offers strategically to get an offer accepted based on the current environment. Think about how we're going out and getting listings. Think about the consumer experience. We're taking all the same things from page 138, right, of lead generation mechanisms, but we have to think a little bit strategically about how to implement them. Take consumer experience, for example, right? That's a really important piece to the puzzle. Let's think farming, right? That's a lead generation mechanism. And I could farm a neighborhood and mail a bunch of postcards. But what happens if I thought a little bit differently about farming? And we kind of miss spring cleaning, but I know I still have a lot of leaves in the yard. And what does everybody do during spring cleaning? They rake their leaves and they grab those bags from Lowe's, right? What happens if I put my name and number on a bunch of bags for $100 or $200 or $1,000? It doesn't really matter. And then gave them out to an entire neighborhood. And now all of a sudden for a week, my name and number, and I probably wouldn't put my face on there. Ain't nobody want to see that. But my brand is on all these bags that are around the entire neighborhood. And I went and handed them out and farmed that neighborhood. But I thought a little different about the intention of that activity and strategically did something a little different. I threw a curveball, not a fastball. This is what we have to start thinking. This is how we have to start being a little bit different in this environment. Does that make sense? Almost done. Think standards. So this is an awesome one. If my expectation every month when I set my goals at the beginning of the year was I have to take 4 listings, right? That would be my standard, correct? But every month I take 2. What's my standard? My standard is what I tolerate. My standard is the 2. So I have to think differently about standards. I get what I tolerate, right? Another thing my coach screams at me about. We get what we tolerate. The standards are what we consistently put on the board. It's not what we say on a goal sheet. If we want to stay at that 2 and we want to stay at that standard, go ahead and do it. That's beautiful. And I would ask yourself, what was it that made you set your goal at a higher level before? And is that truly your standard? Because what does that get you when you make that your new standard? So we think standard. It's a really, really important thing. And then lastly, service. There are 3 pieces to service. It's purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary responsibility, right? I think consumer experience when I think service, and I think unique insight, unique access, and unique service, right? So grouping our databases into unique, like all the doctors, all the first-time home buyers, and then creating a unique insight for that demographic, and then a unique access for that demographic, and a unique value proposition, a unique service for that person and that group, right? Very similar to what the book is saying here on 94, purpose, right? Top real estate agents always have clear understanding of why they should be hired, and they are able to articulate it to anybody at any time. Can everybody do that in this room? Same, and then secondly, your value proposition. What is it truly that you're doing differently? If you're challenged by that, go to page 95. I'm dead serious. It's goofy. And it literally walks you through the 10 service areas of the seller and the 10 service areas of the buyer value propositions. Take them, evaluate it against what you're currently doing, and change what you have to change so that you can articulate it perfectly, right? So that people understand how you are different. Because consumer experience is what's going to rule. You know, 60% of real estate agents right now got their license during COVID. 60%. Whenever I hear a statistic, I always go a little deeper, right? And I'm like, okay, so that's 40% that can win easily, with all due respect. How come they're not? What's stopping them? Can they do, like, there's such a huge opportunity. It's unbelievable. And if we just implement some of these big models into our business in a small way, you'll separate yourself from the masses. When I think about this market, 69% of the market sells less than 5 homes a year. What do you think is going to happen to them during a shift? With all due respect, I'm a pretty real person. It's just facts, right? Unless we help them, get them to KW, help them build your profit share, plug. It's a really interesting way to look at the data. I'll give you one more. So they talk about this statistic, 88%, I think it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, 88% of clients say that they'd use their real estate agent again, 13% do. So what's our answer to that every time? It's we don't follow up with them, they forgot who they are. And there's validity to that for sure. It's brand saturation, right? It's 7 to 10 years between transactions. It's not like I'm going down the road. I can name 15 cars, but I can probably only name 2 real estate agents because I see cars every day. I don't see real estate agents every day. Valid. But is it really true? What's the average tenure of real estate agent? It's 5. If you remove the outliers, it's 2. And what's the average homeowner? How long between transactions for the average person? 7 to 10. So is it true that we're just not following up with them, or is it they're not in the darn business anymore? That is fascinating when you think about it. What does that mean for all the individuals that are here for more than 5 years? It means I have a huge opportunity at massive database growth if I just go and talk to more people. Here's the last thing, I'm sorry. When we think about the follow-up, Alan, right? Guess how many newsletters I'm on? We laugh. A lot? There's been maybe a handful. I'm on 5 newsletters. How many real estate agents do you think I know? At least 450, but like 800? Yeah, I don't know Colton, poor guy. I know him now. Guess who's in this room? There's one newsletter I'm on. There's one. It's Alan Donald. One newsletter. How come you think that's true? Why do you think that's the reason? Like, take Alan out of it. Why am I only on 5? I know 450 real estate agents in a brokerage that I have a part in. And I know probably another 400 or 500 agents. They assume that I'm not a client. That's exactly right. How many people in our database that we know do we assume they aren't a client? Probably too many. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. What's the upside? A mentor of mine always said it, or Vin, my brother's name's Ant. That was weird. Vin, what's the upside? He would ask me that for everything I do. What's the upside? Which automatically has us think about the downside too. The upside is I get a deal in another person in my database. If I take that statistic I just told you about from the standpoint of average tenure in the business, and then I apply it to believing everybody is somebody I can help, I'm going to grow my database exponentially because most of those people probably don't have a real estate anymore because they're not in the business. That's doing all of these things we just talked about, 1 through 9, those concepts. That's thinking competitively, strategically. That's thinking service. That's thinking possibility. That's taking action. That's thinking with a power by a big why, because you don't get there if you don't do it. Right? Does this make sense? Is this helpful? Yeah, so there's 9. So I'll read them. I don't say them in order. No, I have them right here. It's page 71. So number 1 is think powered by a big why. Number 2 is think big goals and big models. And we'll send this out in the recap too. Number 3 is think possibilities. Number 4 is think action. Now you can go through. Number 5 is think without fear. Number 6 is think progress, page 88. Number 7, think competitively and strategically. Number 8 is think standards. And number 9 is think service. Give me 2 ahas and then we're done. Give me 2 ahas from that.
In the eyes, the model is fantastic. The implementation is what's difficult.
Yes, it's simple, not easy.
And you get bogged down in too many areas. You have to focus.
You have to focus. I love that, Alan. Thanks for that. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I love.
Why does none of it not fit through the eye of a needle?
I don't know. You tell me.
That's a little knot on the tail.
That's the best. So that's great. I love that.
Joseph would like that.
Yeah. So when we think about big models must be, they bite them one bite at a time. They must be implemented in small pieces. Give me one more.
Going back to number 6, something popped up into my head. There's a song by Kenny Rogers called I Am the Greatest, or The Greatest. And it's about this little kid taking his baseball and a bat out into the field, throwing it up in the air, and him trying to hit it. And each time he can't hit it. But at the end of the song, he goes and says, I didn't know I was the greatest pitcher in the world. And it resonated with me because it's true. Like he kept going out and kept saying, I am the greatest, I am the greatest. And then he's like, maybe I need to look at it a different way.
It's awesome. I love it. That's a great. Well, I am humbled to be in business with each and every one of you. I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. Zoom world, we're zooming off.
What is unfortunate is the camera died. So